This is the Chief and Shawn show, and we are live in the 405.
We're not live, but we are back.
We're live.
No, we're not. We are back.
And we're live.
Weekly, not live.
We're sort of live.
Okay, to everyone listening, or,
the people who are listening.
the few that listen, here's the deal. Speed Society is going to be hosting all of these podcasts. You're going to be seeing a ton from these guys. How big are they, Shawn?
It's the biggest automotive website in the world, and, I mean, they got a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, we're stoked to be working with guys like that for sure. Anytime we can align ourselves with other huge automotive people, this is perfect. So,
Also, stop listening now and go and like it and comment on it, and the sooner you do that, hopefully, the more podcast episodes you'll hear.
yeah, the Crow 405, Murder Nova, Midwest Streetcars. Like it, comment on us, tell us who you are, tell us why you listen to it. Keep this going, please. There are people that don't want this to keep going.
Yeah, there's people right now trying to put an end to this. They don't want us on the air.
And we got guys like Speed Society that want to help us keep it going. So
welcoming us.
Let's do it. Rock and roll. Help everybody out.
And while you're there, check it out. Their website's awesome.
Welcome, everyone. We are back again this week.
Yeah.
For a very, very, very special episode of the Chief and Shawn show. We're here in the Meth Shack, and today is going to be all about the world famous grudge. Well, let's even start before then. Street / grudge / no prep superstar Birdman. We have two of them here, though.
So Birdmen.
Birdmen here. We have two of the guys here that own the car and drive the car. They're here with us in the Meth Shack, and we are going to go over all the hot topics right now because these guys are electric huge right now. I mean, they are all over social media. These guys have made a fucking instant name for themselves in the no prep world. We all known them before that.
Yes, for a very, very long time we followed these guys.
But now they showed up in the no prep game and have just been like dunking it on
turning
dudes.
It out.
Just dunking it on people. So introduce yourselves. Who are you? Because you have to imagine here that our tens of listeners are in their mom's basement somewhere right now, and they may have never heard of, the Birdmen now. Birdman, the car, the racing. Just introduce, who are you? What do you do on the car? And then, or how are you a part of the car, each of you? And then let's start getting into, let's start getting into, how this came about. How did this whole deal happen?
Who is Birdman?
Who is the Birdman?
I'm Birdman. Started back with streetcar. I named the car One Bad Bird, and so everybody started calling me Birdman. Jamie's been a friend of mine pretty much my whole life. He used to tune on the car, and we decided to come back out, and he wanted to drive. So we bought this car, and at first I bought the car. Jamie was driving the car, and now he's actually bought out half of it, and we're partners in it, and going for bigger things.
Okay, so you're the OG Birdman, and that's because you had a Firebird, right?
Correct.
You were a Firebird type guy,
big Trans Am guy.
Okay, cool. And then you are
Jamie.
Okay, and you're the driver of the car, half owner and driver, right?
Right.
And you guys obviously you're a small racing team in the bigger picture. So you guys still work on the car. You're still. You guys still turn wrenches on the car. You're still setting the car up and hauling it and the whole deal. This isn't some big, ridiculous racing team with a semi-truck and sponsors everywhere. Like, this is a legit, in your own garage, building a fucking weapon of mass no-prep destruction right now.
Right. Yeah, correct. Everything's done on the car in my garage. We don't send it out. Jamie and a couple of friends. I mean, there's like 5 of us total.
Right on. And the car that we've followed for years was you when you guys were, huge in the garage scene. That car was the Camaro with the flame job on it.
Correct.
And that was the what year was that car? 80 something.
88.
Right? 88 looking car.
Yeah,
okay. And that was a true back half car.
True back half.
That had front
2,900 pound car.
2,900 true back half car. That was in the world of racing. One of, if not the fastest back half cars in the game, right?
Probably the fastest.
Yeah. Definitely in the top 3.
Yeah. For sure. And But before even the Camaro, and now obviously you have a new car, and we're going to touch on that too. But before even the Camaro, I mean, I used to when I was freaking I don't know when I was
14
young. We used to all go over to Dave's house and everybody's houses, and they'd have AOL or internet
to the
access.
one person that had internet.
Yeah, and
library.
Yeah, we'd
whatever.
we'd all stand around the same computer, and there was a website back then, and people don't know this that aren't in the game or from the game or have been in it as long as guys like these guys or even us who we're fairly new in the street racing game compared to guys like you guys. But back then there was a website that really started this giant street racing, really fast cars, because everybody had street raced, pickups and whatever their parents
whatever they had
handed them down. But man, there was a website called rankinroad.com, and that website that literally turned us on to the fact that there were guys who took real race cars that they drove around, but these cars had slicks and big motors and nitrous and blowers, and they would race on the street in Houston back then. And that was like the game changer. That was the mecca back then, was the Houston street scene. That's where, a lot of people say that this stuff comes from California, and some of it did originally. The whole automotive street racing thing may have come from there or from movies like Grease or whatever. But man, for guys like me, the things we do now came from rankinroad.com. That taught us a different way of street racing. You know what I mean? That was that was crazy. And you guys were a part of that movement back then. You guys were a big deal on Rankin Road and back then, right?
Correct. There was actually another website. There was Hot Rod Gossip that had a top 10 list.
Oh yeah, I remember
Hot Rod
Gossip.
Street Kings. We were number one on that list from the time it started for a little over 2 years. And kind of same thing happened. Like I said, we had a 3,500-pound back half street driven car.
Was that the red one?
Yes.
The red bird
on
and
the
T-top Trans Am called the One Bad Bird.
Yeah.
And Hot Rod Gossip, that's Joe Golden's deal, right?
And then rankinroad.com started doing the filming for it. And then he started his own website posting it. Like I said, we held on to the number one spot for 2 years, undefeated, until same thing happened. They started bringing out lightweight, lighter cars.
Yep.
I think we finally lost it to
Evolution.
a love truck, tube chassis car. And,
So you were number one with a real street type car, a real steel car from Detroit, and a back half car, and you guys were kicking ass with that car, and that's what the scene was. And then all of a sudden they start to realize that they could bring out a lighter weight car and run with your car. You had so much work and time and money into to be fast. They could bring out a lighter car and not have to work as hard to run with you or outrun you. And so you watched that happen. I mean, how many years ago was that?
It was 99, 2000, somewhere in there. And then the same thing happened. It started on the street, and then it got so big, promoters started getting it, moved to the track. We started racing a lot. They had the Street King, and they was calling them meltdowns, I believe, and they had them for years.
So you saw the same thing that we're seeing now. History has a way of repeating itself, but you saw even back then in that giant street scene in Houston and the big street races. And I mean, you guys would hold races out there. Some of those races would last 2 days. You know what I mean? Like you guys would race out there for 2 straight days, and the cops were they were either okay with it or they didn't want to fuck with even trying to shut it down. There was just too many people there. So, but even back then, you watched it happen.
No, we did our share running from the cops. Trust me. Yeah, they blacked us in on Rankin one night. We sat there for about 5 hours. They made us sit there all night long.
Yeah, we've been there,
wasting your time.
Yeah,
we've been there. They like to do that for sure. But so you even saw it. You saw it go back then. So your street scene was huge, and then the cars got lighter and they got faster, and then the cops got involved, and then you kind of went through all of that evolution before on the street, and then the last 10 years, 15 years, you've been mainly just grudge racing at the track, or did you do any class racing?
We did some of the pinks all out. We did mostly all just grudge racing.
Some back half shootouts.
And we did a few back half shootouts till we stepped up, and then we got banned from back half shootouts in a true back half car.
How does that? Wait a minute.
Twin
How do
turbo.
you ban a back
Twin
half?
turbo.
Oh, they banned the twin turbo. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
They banned
call it
us,
an
but then
extreme.
turned around and let another twin turbo car in.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they
well,
started
yeah.
a new class.
You got
called
local by the
Extreme,
homies.
Yeah.
Extreme back half. And
oh,
I think
only-
that's why they coined the term, because of us. They call us extreme back half.
extreme back half
Extreme.
because you're
Yeah.
faster. So
we were
so
told we were too fast.
you're
Right.
too fast to be a back half.
We did. We asked them, what's the rule? What rule
Yeah,
are you going to
what-
make?
yeah, where is
there
the
is no
rule?
rule. Birdman's too fucking fast. That's
Yeah,
the rule.
that's the only rule.
rule.
That's
Yeah,
the only rule.
We call that getting localed by the homies. That's
Yeah.
what we call, because we've been out of town before, and that's happened to us too. We've seen that happen. Shawn, when he was kicking all that ass with his car and cash days and no preps, and back in the day, they outlawed the tube chassis, because his was considered a tube chassis.
It had a strut front end.
It had a strut front end, so they outlawed tube chassis, but yet they would let in some tube chassis cars, but not Shawn's.
Yeah.
Because Shawn's. Then they said, well, Shawn's just it's got too much power, too big a tire, blah blah blah. So we kind of have seen that too, where that happens, and it's frustrating, man, when you have a car that you work hard on to be the fastest by the rules,
Yeah.
and then they still don't want you to play.
We fought that, like I said, our whole racing
Yeah.
career. I mean, everywhere we go, it'll start out good, and then they start telling us we're too fast. We kill the class, but to us, that's the point of racing. We want the fastest guy.
Well, yeah. You're not gonna be out in the garage working, putting time in on the car, putting better parts on it, and using your knowledge to make it go faster, and then be like, whoa, that's enough, guys.
Right.
We don't want to go too fast.
We don't want to work that
We
hard.
don't want to work out here the rest of tonight, because then we may work ourselves out of a race.
Yeah, so you guys saw that happen, and you've seen the evolution. I mean, you guys have been doing this long enough with the big turbo stuff and dealing with that. I mean, how long have you guys been campaigning a twin turbo car in the grudge game?
What, 3
3 years.
3
We were
years.
nitrous until then, but even at the end with our nitrous car, we started having to race turbo cars. So we went
And they were
turbo.
getting fast.
And they were getting fast. I couldn't keep
Yeah.
up. I had a 598, 3,000-pound car on 2 kits, and they started bringing tube chassis. I mean, one from down JoJo, twin turbo,
JoJo.
tube chassis,
Wow.
big tire Camaro against my small tire. So I talked the guys in. We switched to turbo, and then all of a sudden, turbos ain't allowed.
Yeah.
And we've actually been told that grudge racing is no turbo.
So
Yeah, no, they've told us that too. They've actually
Yes.
told us that we may as well not even want to go grudge racing, because they're not going to allow turbos really. No, you're not going to get a race if you have a twin turbo car, because
Right.
in the grudge game. So whenever you got beat by a turbo car, and well, I mean, when you said
He called me out. We
What-
come back.
yeah, but I mean, like originally, whenever you were saying that your 598 wasn't doing the job anymore like you wanted to, or it was you were seeing how it was going, and the twin turbo guys were getting faster, and you saw that happen. Instead of you crying and wanting them to ban the turbos, you just changed your car to make it competitive, and then they banned you.
Correct. We first went with a single turbo and went as far as we could with that. And we had stock suspension, 68 Camaro, 460s,
Damn.
and got where we couldn't get it. So we bought Todd Moyer's old car. Our car is not a big money car like everybody thinks it is. It's all used stuff. We take other people's wore out stuff and do more with it.
Thank God for Todd Moyer.
I mean,
his
yeah,
used
everything we got.
parts.
Yeah.
He got his used motor, his used car, so,
Yeah.
except the new one now.
Yeah, I've met him before, and I will say, man, he's one of the nicest guys that you can meet in drag racing. He's really down to earth. He's really decent guy. Anyway, I don't know him other than just meeting him at Tulsa every once in a while,
Yeah.
the Outlaw 10.5 stuff. But he seemed really good. He's always had really nice stuff. Good God Almighty.
So when he throws it away, we're there.
Yeah, right.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
We're rummaging
what-
through his
what else you
garage.
got?
Yeah.
What else you got?
I mean, our new car, we was over at his shop looking for parts. Got the headers and a few other things.
Oh, man.
So you did some of the back half shootouts, and you did some of the stuff, and then they started outlawing you. And so then what you just said, I'm not fucking with rules anymore. You're going grudge racing, right? Because that's where we know you from. We know you from.
And we've been, like I said, we've been grudge racing a long time, but it just got to the point where there's just a couple of cars that'll run us
In the grudge game.
in the grudge game.
Yeah, and they weren't
And
back
it's the
half cars either,
same
were they?
car over and over. A couple of them were. You had Hyde, the Shadow, but other than that, yeah, we were running against Pro Mods, still with our back half. But even with Pro Mods, most of them wanting us to give them the brake, the clear, just or punk out on us. So
with
it just got where
tube chassis cars.
Yeah,
They even
just,
the tube chassis guys didn't want to fuck with you.
So it just got where it wasn't fun to us, and we got called out by a couple of no prep guys saying that there's no way we could go on the street. So we went to the street, went to the no prep, and that's where we are.
Yeah, and I must say that you're really kicking ass in the no prep stuff. I mean, we watched you. You know, we heard about you coming out, and they said, "Oh, Birdman's gonna go to the no prep in Amarillo or whatever. He's gonna no prep," and we were just like, "Whoa, like that's a serious car to be risking at a no prep." You know what I mean? Like we've been doing no preps long enough that, you know, that no prep stuff is it's scary. They tear up a lot of cars out there, and it's just like, you know, it's a lot like the street. Sometimes it's worse than the street. You know, the big end can be worse than the street. It's slipperier than the street. So, as a driver, like going from the grudge tracks, because some of the grudge tracks that you guys raced at
were pretty shitty.
They were pretty shitty.
They were
anyway.
bad.
So as a driver to race in all these shitty grudge tracks everywhere and all the shit that you've had to deal with people trying to fuck with you on the starting line and all that other stuff, like what is the biggest difference in, because a lot of people don't understand the no prep stuff. So like what's the biggest difference that you've noticed going from the grudge scene to the no prep stuff? What's the biggest hurdle, or what's the difference as a driver that you're having to face out there at the no preps that you weren't actually didn't think was going to be that way or whatever?
Well, the obvious. Driving the car is totally different on a prep track versus a no prep. Plain and simple. I tagged the wall one of my first no prep races. I have this way of when it starts to spin a little bit, you can just give it a little pedal on a prep track and it'll hook back up.
Yeah.
Don't do that on no prep. I mean, you guys know that.
If you do it fast enough, your wheels are still spinning from the reason that you pedaled it.
Right. It tends to break loose pretty hard when you have that kind of power and you whack it. It upsets the car, and there you go.
Now, what kind of power? I mean, because we've touched on a little bit. Your Camaro deal had a twin turbo. What kind of power do you estimate that car was? I mean, that deal that you're driving. What kind of power are we talking about to the people that are trying to understand what I'm talking about? As you as a driver having, you know, giant, you know, stainless steel balls here, like how much power are you wheeling?
We don't really know, and I don't think anybody can't judge it, but somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000, somewhere in there.
On a no prep track, we're talking close to. I mean, could be close to 4,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
In a back half car. Well, and at these no prep races, I mean that's, you know,
we can't use all of it. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, we have to back it down, but yeah, it's
now
there.
You're kind of a calm, cool guy. You know what I mean? you can't. I mean, Birdman over here, he seems like the shit talker. He could get riled up. I can see him getting riled up real quick. But you seem pretty cool, calm, and collected. Like, is it fun for you at the no preps? Does it get your hair up? Like after a pass where like your last one here at Redemption, I mean, you won, what was that, $15,000-$20,000, right? $15,000. That's almost as much as I won at Armageddon.
Right.
Sorry. You add the 10 that we got from Armageddon. But we got our 15 outrunning Kyle Kelly.
That's true. That's true. I didn't get the opportunity. I had to outrun John Doe, who outrun Kyle Kelly. So I got to do Ricer math.
We're gonna get him next.
Yeah. So, but as a driver, I mean, when you get out of a car with 4,000 horsepower and you're sliding sideways to the finish line, you know, backing on and off the gas to get there before the other guy, I mean, are you glad it's over? Or are you like, fucking yeah, that was fucking badass? Or I mean, what's it like in there? Because I mean, it doesn't. I don't know that anything could get you stirred up.
I don't know. He's smiling about it.
Yeah,
he's got the look on his face right now. Is
shit. I live for it, dude.
Right.
Come on.
Right on.
I mean, the prep track is badass. The power, the pull, the mile per hour is awesome on a prep track. But having to drive the car on a big end and no prep, I gotta say, is fun. I hope everybody that does it, be careful. You know, it is dangerous, but hey, that's what it's all about, is the adrenaline.
Definitely can't be somebody new to cars or new to the street, or new to anything, you know, less than a drag radial prep track and go out there and be cool on a no prep.
It's different, man.
You can get in trouble real fast.
It's different, and I think that a lot of the reason why you guys are doing so well, and I've talked about this before, is, you know, guys that come from the street game or the grudge game, you know, the match race stuff that we do and that you guys do, you know, we've been doing it on the street and you guys have been grudge racing for a long time. There's just something about the way that we race that we don't have qualifying rounds. We don't have test sessions like everybody else. You know, like when we go race somewhere, you know, for the most part, we get one pass.
One
at this
shot,
guy.
one
you get
kill.
one shot at this guy. Yeah, like you said, yeah, one shot, one kill. So every race that we go to and every race that you guys go to, every pass is one of the biggest, craziest races. Because I mean, you guys have raced for big money in the grudge game, right? I mean, what's the most you guys have ever raced for in a grudge race at the track?
Not that big. I mean, we raced for 11,000 one time.
The one in Florida was.
Because we had heard 25. Or you were gonna race one guy for 25.
We've offered to bet. A lot of times it gets smaller, but when we count our bets at the track, we might bet a guy $15,000. There's another. We don't throw in what everybody else is wanting to pitch in. There could be $100,000 race.
Oh yeah, by the time
we're talking
everybody
about
patches by the time the money gets patched in,
it just gets too hard when you got 100 people trying to throw in money. So we get them okay. They're betting with the same crews,
right?
But we're going to lock in.
But I mean, there's a good chance that you guys well, I mean, Jamie, you're behind the wheel, and you know that you guys have 10 or 15,000 of your own dollars on the line, and then you also know that your crews and your fans and the guys behind you on the starting line, they've got, you know, thousands of dollars. So you're behind the wheel and you're going to this tree. You know that there's a possibility there's $100,000 of you and your people's money on one pass. One fucking pass.
One fuck up.
Not like, you know,
Right.
a race or a class race, which a lot of people don't understand. In a class race, you have a qualifying time. So when you lay that qualifying time down, if you're the fast guy, your first round is against the slowest guy. That's the way they do the pro ladder. So in a class race, the faster guy, he usually gets a couple rounds to get his shit together. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
you know, the pro ladder at a class race it's designed to give the guy who qualified the fastest a little incentive. So you get to race the slowest guy first round. Well, that's not what you guys do. You guys race one shot, one kill. So that $100,000 and all the bitching and screaming and complaining and arguing in the pits comes down to one hit, one pass, and that will change a driver really quick to the point where I've noticed that the owners of the cars and the crew members and the drivers, they just become a more collected unit because every pass they've made in the last 5 or 10 years is the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
It's the final round.
Right. So
The first round is the final round.
It's going to be hard to shake a crew like yours because you match race. You don't class race. So every pass you make out there is the biggest race of your career, of your life, whatever. So, and you could possibly fuck up and lose $100,000 in one deal. Well, that's more money than most people make in a year. So like that changes a crew and that changes the way that you guys race. And I can see that when you came out to the no preps because you're racing guys that are nervous. You're racing car owners that are scared to death of losing a car, crashing a car. You're racing, people that really may not know what they're doing and may not know what they're getting into. Cause if they came from class racing or if they came from bracket racing or whatever and brought out a old big tire top sportsman car because it looks like it's fun. I mean, you guys are no mercy. You've been there. You've already been down all the big races before. So this ain't nothing to you guys. So I think that really says a lot about grudge racers and match racers in the street race game and in the no prep game. You almost kind of have a little leg up there because you're not going to get nervous racing Kai Kelly in a final for 20 grand when you've raced, Kai Kelly's your whole life for 20 grand, hundreds of $1,000s. Right. So that, I think that definitely gives you something there, in the no prep game for sure. Because, a lot of the guys that you're racing, they're turning their car down. They see a guy crash in front of them and they're scared to death and they don't want to race or they want to, let off quicker or they don't want to get back in the gas. And then you got guys like you that, you're going to get back in it 4 or 5 times, whatever you got to do to get to the finish line. You know what I mean? So that's, it's really nice to see another group like that in this no prep game, you know. So I feel like you guys are really killing it right now. You've won in the past few months. You've won. What are you up to now? $35,000 in no preps. Just the purses, not counting the betting.
A little over 50.
A little over 50.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you've hit more no preps than just the two big ones. You've hit some other ones there too.
Yeah,
So
we hit
A couple here in Dallas,
5.
one in over by Taibadale.
Evadale twice, H&P twice.
oh wow.
Now, have you guys won pretty much every?
We've
no
won
prep you got
every
into?
one
No,
except
we've
2
lost-
we runnered up.
No, we lost 3. We lost the
3.
one where we couldn't start in the finals
Yeah.
in Edinburgh. Lost
Yeah, Edinburgh.
or when we couldn't start the
Oh,
car
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
finals against
Yeah, yeah.
John Doe. And then we lost when, we didn't even get to race. We went all the way to Alabama. I call it law. We went to Alabama and hit the wall
Oh.
test. And stuff.
That wasn't a loss.
Nah, yeah,
That's
that
a
was-
Yeah, wrecked the car.
That was a
And-
crash. That wasn't a
And
loss.
then we lost against Herzog.
That's a big difference. You
That's a
didn't
big
lose to
difference.
nobody.
That's right. You're damn right.
When the money don't come on to me, it's
Yeah,
a loss. I don't drive. I'm like, oh,
I can't tell you the wins. I can tell you the losses. I don't know
Yeah,
where the fuck you got 3, but there ain't
And
3.
It's a loss to me. You didn't bring me no money home.
Yeah, so to you, the money didn't come home. That's a loss. But to him, he's driving the car. He didn't get beat by nobody.
No,
he
he
just
didn't get
crashed. That's not a loss to him.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
So,
see.
so a lot of people probably don't realize this, but you were actually railing Dave's ass whenever Dave crashed into the wall at Amarillo.
That's a nice way to put that, Sean.
Sorry.
But we
Wow.
realized it.
So
Like,
he said we
our
realized
fans realized it, but
See, you were
a
the
lot
ones-
of people don't even
But a
see
lot
it
of
because
people
the
don't-
clip
don't-
is so fast. Most people don't even know that was us in another lane.
Well, you
'Cause they
guys
don't-
were out on him quite a ways before he got in trouble, you know. And
So yeah,
And,
so a lot of people don't know that you were actually the car in the other lane when Dave crashed Goliath and lost that car. You guys were the
Yeah.
ones he was
I
racing.
actually crossed center line. I took out the mile per hour cone, and
At the big
when I got to the big end, I pulled off, and I'm like, "Where's Dave? He ain't coming." And then I saw the ambulances, and you know what the first thing I thought was? I thought I crossed over, and he avoided me and tagged the wall. I thought,
Damn.
"Oh fuck, I crashed this guy.
Oh,
I
that
just
sucks.
crashed
that
this
is,
guy."
I mean, that was literally one of the worst crashes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
no doubt about
standing on the fence right in front of
Man,
him.
it was
I
so
hit the
brutal.
ground when that nitrous bottle come out the car. I mean, I thought it was coming
Oh my
straight
God.
at me because we
Yeah.
were standing right there.
Now, does that, Jamie? Does that phase you as a driver at all? I mean, does that change how you think about your next pass or how you think about no preps when you see something like that happen? I mean,
Not in a mental "are you scared" sense. No, racing happens. I know what's going to happen if we crash, so it doesn't affect me. Just the fact that I crossed the center line changed my game for no prep. But-
I see. Okay, so you weren't. So once you found out that you didn't cause the accident, or you were but he was already crashed by the time you crossed center. Once you figured that out, all you were concerned with is not crossing center the next
Right.
one.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm talking
Yeah,
about. That's the balls of steel.
yeah.
You know, that's
Right.
the match game grudge race thing that changes the driver to where, you know, if you were to drive a pro car and you were to be the owner of a pro car, so if this Birdman team had a top fuel car out there, I mean, you would be one of the teams that just doesn't get nervous. No one could phase you because every race is a match race for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So these guys, you don't get a first round layup in the PDRA or nothing like that. I mean, you're every round. That's fucking cool. And I think that we need more drivers like that. We need more people that know the grudge game or the street game or the no prep game, because that makes for a lot better racing when you have guys like that can bang it out there and you know and know that you're going to push it as hard as you can to the finish line. You know, that gives a hell of a show for people to watch.
And I will say, you know, Jamie, I think he gets calmer as he pulls up to the line. I've never
He
seen
gets calmer
anybody.
than this.
He
gets calmer.
Yeah,
called
you
dead.
think,
I think he
yeah,
has to-
he-
yeah,
I
he
goes
gets-
in a coma. And deadly on the tree. I couldn't ask somebody better to drive the car. I mean, he really
Right on.
does his job. So.
Yeah, and I've seen videos of you guys at some of these little outlaw tracks, these grudge races, and I mean, there's 1,500 people standing around your car, you know, betting money on your car. Some of these guys are scary looking dudes. You know what I mean? To you know, people watch these videos, and if they've never been to these grudge races and they've never been to these parts of the country where this stuff happens, like, this is a scary looking group of people, and they're putting money on you at the starting line. You fucked this deal up, like that's a lot. You know what I mean? So
you took away all their money,
right?
So,
well, the bad part is
sometimes
sometimes we don't even know. We got to make a test, and this has actually happened. We're making a test hit, and another car jumps another lane. We're making a test hit, and they run it out like to the 330. And I had somebody come up to the trailer. I lost $2,000. It wasn't even a race
on a test hit.
Yeah.
They're
matter of fact,
right.
when we raced Bumblebee,
we didn't race him.
we wasn't even racing.
We were on a
him.
test pass,
We
and
were
it's
on a
all over
test
the internet
pass,
that we
and
were
it's a
racing.
Deal that
get mad. That wasn't
That was not a loss. Goddamn it!
but what I'm saying, that was
I know my losses.
we
but
was
this
making
many.
a test pass. This guy wanted to said, "Hey, I want to go down beside y'all," and there was a shitload of money bet on that race. Everybody was betting on it.
And you were just testing.
It was just a test hit.
Man, that's crazy, man. That's the kind of stuff that, we've been to some of the grudge races. I mean, I remember when me and Shawn, we went to our first real grudge race down in Texas, and I mean, we weren't ready. We weren't prepared. You know what I mean? We came from the street racing around here where everybody's trying to find out who's the fastest. You know what I mean? Like we really wanted to know like who's the fastest. So you go to the grudge races down there, and most of those guys ain't worried about who's the fastest. They're worried about who's gonna get the money out of your pocket. You know what I mean? So they're about that hustle. So they had us so running in circles, we didn't know what the fuck they was talking about, and we lost a lot of money. And that first night, they stripped our ass. We went home naked, but we learned more of the game. But I mean, God, dude, there's got to be. You guys have to know every stipulation of every race, and because you could fuck up and lose 20 grand on one little bitty stip.
That's grudge racing's gotten overwhelming with
and it
steps.
used to not be that way, and that's what kind of got us feeding away from the grudge scene. Is you damn near have to have a lawyer to figure out the rules of the race. I mean, seriously, there's stipulations of everything, and now even to what time you got to do it, everything.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just it's gotten crazy.
I've been keeping up with some of the Facebook pages and the grudge racing Facebook pages because I do have a big time passion for grudge. I think grudge racing is one of the coolest things that could ever happen to drag racing. Now it's gotten muddy here lately with the promoters and the money and the different things happening, and it's gotten the class racers are trying to they're trying to pick on some of the guys, and you get some big money teams that are wanting to pick on the lower money teams in grudge racing, and so it's gotten kind of muddy lately. But man, some of those arguments and some of the language and the stips and the talk that they use, like I'm watching this going, man, I don't even know what happened. So like, but you watch the race, you go, oh, well, he won. No, he didn't. Well, what do you mean he didn't? Well, there was 15 different reasons how he lost, and you have to know each one of those reasons, or you lose your money, and it's scary to me to even think about trying to take my car somewhere and race for a big amount of money, and then as a driver and a team owner or a car owner or a crew member, you have to worry about all those little bitty things to make sure that you get paid. That's just, man, I could see that being a headache. I could see that being something that you may want to try other things, because eventually, how the fuck are you getting paid? You know what I mean? Right.
Well, it's tough to even be in the crowd and get a bet. And you're not even involved in it. You're just betting with some other dude, and he's got steps too. You know? I mean,
So even at this last race, we saw one where between us and Kai, where some people are arguing on the internet because their stipulation was if either one crossed, it was no bet.
Oh, wow. I mean, there'll be people who just walk up to you and go, "Who do you like on this?" And if you say who you like, that's your bet.
You may have just entered a bet.
You just entered a bet. Whenever all you do is, I like this lane.
Yeah, those guys.
They're even betting on PayPal now.
Yeah, I was down there, and it was my first grudge race that I was involved in. We had been and watched a bunch of them, but I was I was driving my El Camino at the time that Kamikaze now owns and drives. And the guy, I was looking for a race, and the guy said, well, let me hit. And I was like, let you what? He's like, let me hit. And I was like, he wants to hear it? I don't understand. Why does he want to hear it? You know? So I was like, yeah, sure, you can hear it, whatever. And he was like, all right, well, we go up there and the light goes green, and I left and I lost the money because he was supposed to leave first, and I didn't even understand what he was talking about. So we were just like,
we smoothed.
well,
he didn't even leave. So
Right.
we didn't get to see what his car had or anything.
So
So he's
then
back there wanting to run it back. And we done lost, what, $2,500
It was
bucks,
a bunch.
$3,000, something like that on that race.
So then we
And
bet again.
the car didn't even leave for us to see what it had.
We bet again on a heads up race, and come to find out that he had a lot more than we did. And, so
And he railed our ass
yeah, I think he throttled the gas on us at the finish line
for
and
like
stuff,
another $3,000 or
and,
something.
yeah. And so we were just we went home. We were confused really, and a few weeks later we put it together on what may have happened, and we said, well, that's unfortunate. We didn't, we just paid
got
our
cheated.
We paid our tuition. Well, we paid our tuition, and so the
We've
next
been on
time
that side of it too.
yeah, the next time we went down there, we did a little better, but yeah, that's it's a wild, fun game for sure at the grudge races, but it's also can get really expensive. Now, the no prep stuff, the payouts are getting huge. The energy's getting just electric. The crowds are just, I mean, flooding to the track to see you guys race, and you're becoming this giant force in no prep that, I mean, if you look on Facebook right now, and especially, I mean, this is days after the race. I mean, you won a race Saturday for a bunch of money at a big Texas no prep, an original no prep track, Kennedale. She's been doing no preps for like 4 years now. So, and you went down there and you won a bunch of money, and it's just been nonstop Birdman on the internet since then. I mean, this is a big deal. I'm not even sure you guys realize how big you are right now. I mean, everybody knows who Birdman is. My 5-year-old son knows who Birdman is because of this no prep assault that you've been on right now. I mean, you're really
Killing
kicking
it.
a lot of ass, and you're going all over, and you're playing by their rules, and you're doing your thing. Now, you have a new car. This was the first race with this new car. This new car is a Firebird, and there have been rumors that it's 1,400 pounds now or something.
yeah.
I mean, every day it gets
And everybody-
lighter.
And
I
goes
saw the
200 miles an
scales.
hour.
No,
Everybody said, I saw the scales.
Everybody saw the scales. Oh, and in the final against Kai, you raced Kai Kelly in the final, my nemesis there. You raced him in the final, beat him, and I mean, I've heard
but he went a 4.0 at 200
I heard he
mile an
went
hour.
198. Come on.
Sorry.
I
Sorry,
heard
198.
4.0 at 198 is what you went in the final. Now, I mean, these rumors are just, they're getting bigger and bigger because of your kicking so much ass right now. So this thing's getting bigger than I even think you're aware of. Now, why did you go to the new car? If the old car was kicking so much ass, I mean, why switch to the new car? What's the thought process there? Because your old car was the back half Camaro, the true back half car, twin turbo deal, and it used to be black with flames. And then last time I seen it was like 14 different colors.
Yeah.
And
Welcome to
then,
no prep.
and then
Those are just
then
love taps.
That's all they
Big
are.
deal.
scrubbing off a little mile an hour there. 198 is too much. Let's hit the
That's
wall so
tuition.
Yeah.
Tuition. Hey, tuition. See,
That's
so
what
you
it
know what I'm
is.
saying. So now, wait a minute. You said that was no prep. You crashed that Camaro during no preps?
Yeah.
So you came out with that car from the garage scene, jumped in some no preps, and you actually pushed it too hard and came back.
Oh, yeah.
Changed my style of driving, period. I drive a grudge car pretty hard. If it can go to the other end, it's going.
Yeah, you're going to force it down through there.
It's going to go.
Yeah.
And I tried to do that same shit in no prep. You can't do that.
It's a little different.
It's a little different.
The
It's a little
surface
different.
ain't there at 4 or 5, and even
The way you pedal, is totally different.
for sure.
so even if you get through the finish line, it gets worse even after the finish
I know.
line.
When
So
you shut
you
down.
don't anticipate
Because I
that.
know.
You know?
So how at what point in the past did you hit the wall?
right crossing the finish line.
Oh, really?
I broke the tires loose at 500 feet,
oh my
and
God.
I thought, I mean, it just spun. It was starting to spin, so I thought it's not going to make it. I'm
So
just
it's
going to
spun
whack,
pretty good because he's
whack
doing
the
this like
throttle
the
one
ass end
time.
went up.
Yeah,
For those of you that can't see,
he's
he's
setting up in a
motioning
seat.
that the ass is
Don't let him
sliding.
lie.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
getting a track record. They told us we were right there getting a track
We're right
record.
there.
And
Yeah.
we're going to get that track.
Wait a
We
minute.
did.
That wasn't a no prep record, right? That was a track
That was
record
the
in
track
general.
record.
You went to a track at a no prep race,
Uh-huh.
and you were shooting for the track record
On a
ET.
no prep.
yeah, we broke it.
We broke
You
Yeah.
broke the record.
We've done that at 2 different tracks.
Wait, on the pass that you crashed?
Yes.
So you crashed. Wait,
Yes.
hang on here. Got it. Hang on here. Now this is you can't make this shit up.
See, I told him we was gonna be in here way too long. We're such big fans of his that we have all of our own questions. That
you're at a no prep. They tell you now it's sketchy. You're pedaling it the pass before. They tell you that they knew what ET you ran. They didn't post it on the clocks, obviously,
Right,
but the
right.
track tower knows what you ran, and they said that you were really close to breaking the track
Two
record.
hundredths. 200ths off of the track record.
200s off the track
right.
record.
And I
What was the
I had
track
lifted at 500 feet.
what
Yeah.
was the track record?
What was the
Can't
track?
tell you that.
It was no, yeah, we can. Yeah, we
Nice try,
can.
Shawn.
It was a,
Oh, yeah, it's all right. Go ahead.
Nice
it was
try.
a
I was just
500
kinda
foot
wondering,
track.
What's
Yeah.
the track record now?
Nice try, Shawn. That's
Hey,
fucking
you know.
decent. Good job, buddy. But you notice, Jamie here, he almost wanted to say it.
I feel like, hey, I can pull
Birdman.
him after the podcast. I can pull him to the side. I think he's gonna tell me.
Birdman
Hey, it's usually
said-
me. I always want to turn the clocks on. And he's like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
So-
shut
No,
this
it's a
up.
500 foot track.
Yeah,
It's a short track. So the
It's a short track.
yeah, it literally was a crop dusting landing field or strip or something.
You
I
took
don't
a
know.
4,000 horsepower back half car to a landing field at
Yeah.
short at a no prep, and then
nice.
so they
And
told you
pedaled it.
so the track record was set at a prepped event,
Correct.
and then
By
you're
Reaper.
by who?
No, that wasn't Reaper there.
No,
And then
There's
you're
another one we took it from Reaper put up a bounty. Oh,
yeah,
one, another
that was an
track.
Amarillo.
That's an Amarillo.
Yeah. I
we
remember
took
that.
that one too.
and then they tell you you're 200s off. The pass before was sketchy and scary. They tell you 200s off. You come back up for the next round, and you're not only trying to win the no prep, you're trying to win the money. You're trying to drive as best you can, but you're also thinking in your head that you're going to push this
I can get that
motherfucker
record.
as hard as you can to get this track record. So at a no prep,
Yeah.
the car gets loose at 500 foot. You hit the wall, but you still got the track record on a no prep track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking right, dude. That's
How bad was it? Just
wasn't
the
bad.
nose?
No, I got the side. I rubbed the wall.
Oh,
I didn't
it's not
hit
even really
it.
a crash.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause
crashed.
it shot off and went through the field, and
Yeah.
through the ditch, and through tires, through the
Okay, so
fire
it was a
lane.
crash.
I couldn't get to the parachute, so you know how it is when you're all over the place. So
Went off
I had
road.
to go off road.
So after you hit the wall, then you went into the field and went through a ditch.
Okay, we
Ended
had
up
a
on the return
spoon
road.
getting dirt out of the turbos. If that tells you anything.
Oh wow! But you got that track record.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
No,
He said no. He said yeah.
no. I'm because that was dumb.
Hey, we got a new car. That
Driving
was
too hard.
dumb. I like the new
Driving too hard on no prep. Y'all don't do that shit at home.
Yeah. Yeah. The no prep stuff is tricky. It's really I've never experienced as much inconsistency as I do at no preps. You know because the starting line there's so much rubber there. It can get really really good, and you can really.
It's deceiving.
It can throw you off because you can think, hey, I'm fixing to lay down a pass here,
Yep.
and then you get out there and man, just all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from underneath you. So you have to be ready for that. That is no prep. That's what no prep is. So so even after you crash car, go through the ditch, you do all that shit, you're still not even considering that this no prep thing isn't for you.
No. Just drive careful. It takes different driving. Don't do stupid shit.
Yeah.
So you change your driving style,
Mm-hmm.
and you
good.
go back to the no preps. And now, what was the reason for going to this ridiculously sinister, dark, mean looking fucking Firebird? Because I've seen pictures of this Firebird, and that is one scary looking car. This thing is, it's mean. It's mean looking. It looks like it means fucking business.
So we heard this other guy bought a Pro Mod and was thinking
We ain't
about
saying-
taking over the world.
We
So
ain't
he's
saying
like-
any names, but his
He's like-
initials are Justin Shear.
And, it was like, oh, yeah, watch this shit. So we're ready.
Okay.
You
Okay.
get it?
So yeah, I mean that's we can both see where it's headed. You know, I mean these guys keep coming out with lighter cars. And
We bought this car 8 months ago. We knew where it was going. We've just been kind of.
You were already on your way there, yeah, because you're fighting the same
all
thing.
over
I
half
was.
the cars that are in, the faster no prep are already tube chassis. All them vets out there, Kai, a lot of them
John
cars are
Doe,
tube chassis.
they're
We're
all
sending a 3,000
pro
pound
mods.
car. So
Right, and in those heavy back half cars with twin turbos, because that's exactly what I had too. Mine wasn't quite a big motor and stuff, but I mean, my front weight was so overwhelming that it was hard to make up the weight difference with horsepower because all of my weight was on the front half of the car, and so I'm sure you were kind of in the same boat there. And so the new chassis that you have is much better for what you're doing. I can only imagine how much better it is. But what is the new chassis? What is it? So it's a Firebird. It's a newer model, 4th gen Firebird.
Yeah, it's an old top sportsman car. It's 104 inch wheelbase. It's a nice little chassis car. It's a Haas built the car.
Oh, it's a Haas car.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a real deal
It
car
is.
there,
It-
gentlemen.
but
that's
it
a
was
fucking pro
used. We
mod.
didn't buy it.
Yeah.
It's a pro mod.
You can call it pro mod, slow mod, whatever you want to do. You still got to get another lane.
That's
we
what
looked
I'm
at
talking about.
looked at the rules.
That's exactly right.
And the rules it said big tires only.
They did.
Okay.
That's
Well,
exactly
everybody's doing it.
So, how different was it? This was the first no prep that you've raced that new car in.
Yeah.
right. This was the
How
first race
different-
you've raced it,
how
period,
different
right?
was it
Literally got
going
loaded
from
up
the other
Thursday
car
night and put in the trailer.
on a no prep surface, going from the other car to go into this pro mod that it's harder to see out of. The car's lighter. It's obviously faster.
Well, it's different. It's totally different. I felt like an idiot, man. I made a test pass, went down through there, and trying to pull it back to the left, and it was going right, and it started spinning. So I just lifted, got back, and told Chad Rogers. He helps us with the tune-up on the car. He's really good. He used to work with Todd Moyer for a long time. Anyway, I'm telling him it's spinning. He's looking at the data going, it's not spinning. I said, something's happening. I'm telling you, it's spinning. I can't get the car to come back over. So he said, well, I'll pull a little power. He pulled a little power. We go back out. Came back, same thing. It's pulling, man. I'm telling you, it's spinning bad out there. I'm having hell. I can't control it. Then one of our guys came up and said, hey, man, do you know the front tires are off the ground at 400 feet? I said, really? I didn't know that. I felt like an idiot. I kind of should have known that, No,
Well,
I thought it was
we
spinning.
have found is it's hard to correct the car when the tires aren't on the ground.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
that big ugly ass duckbill he put on the back. I tell you.
So I saw
so we
pictures.
did
Down
see
for
that.
us,
That
we don't
big
care
wicker
about pretty.
on the back.
I saw that picture. We'll get into that. We'll get into that hideous fucking wing in a second. Here.
He
That's,
said we don't care about pretty. That's obvious.
That's fucking clear.
We're not
Now-
at a car show.
This new car. Most people most people get a new car and they switch everything over. Then they go through the testing process and the new car blues, and they find out what it likes and what it wants, and they get it prepared for the race. Now, you didn't really have that option here. You put this thing together. Now, the first pass on this car was where?
There.
There.
At that race.
That race.
The first pass on the new
Yeah.
car, the first pass with you in the car, the first pass on this car, the first pass with this combination, and the first pass with this car at a no prep was all the same fucking day.
No,
Well,
no,
it's just
Friday
a
night.
Friday night.
We got 2 test hits Friday night.
Okay, but it's
So
still
you were good.
It's
Yeah,
still
we're
a
good,
no.
right.
It's still a no prep. You were
So
testing
hold my
on a
beer
no
and
prep.
watch this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'm starting to wonder about some of your decisions here. That seems kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
you
It
take
worked.
a brand new fucking car out there and put it on. No, it did work. Yo, you fucking you cashed in on that deal for sure. That's badass. The work. I mean, obviously, all the hard work was worth it when you won. You beat some big name guys, and you got all the money, and you won the redemption no prep. That's a big no prep to win. You know what I mean? You guys have been to this no prep in the other car too, correct? Last year, did you go to the same no prep or no?
Yeah.
How'd you do with that one?
We won it. We always win. Come on, Dad. I told you. This many losses.
Oh,
So does it have the same drivetrain in it as the other car? Did you take
Everything.
it all out
We
of it?
pulled motor, transmission, gear, turbos, all the electronics, fuel management, everything out of it except
You
for
really
the
didn't
Have
wire.
have
no
it.
choice except to get this car done if you're
Yeah.
going to make that race.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
The
so
other
This
cars
is all
are
we
whole.
own.
It's not like you had the other car just
But
sitting
the other
there.
car's for sale.
Yeah.
if someone was interested in buying that other car, what was the fastest that car went?
on a no,
no
prep.
prep.
On a prep track, I can tell you.
They're not going to give us anything, Sean. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I will tell you
We
what
can't
that
even
car
trick
run on
these
a prep
guys.
track.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, you ain't. Shut up.
He said no.
We might be fighting.
So the one no prep you were poised to win. I mean, you were doing really well, and then the starter broke in the final round. You didn't get to race, right?
Correct.
And that was against John Doe, right? Okay, so that's got to be tough.
That was bad.
A stupid problem like that, right?
That was terrible. $250 for that starter.
Ugh.
Now we got a $550 one.
Yeah, we got a better one.
And an extra one in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the trailer. That's a nice
Yes.
piece you're working
It
on.
is. It is. And I know we've seen all the memes, memes.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean-
of your trailer next to Shadow's stacker.
Yeah,
You
well, I
know,
mean, so
and-
So we're
that's
poor
one of the-
boy racing. Man.
Hey, you know,
That's one of the biggest
Gotta
grudge
where it
races. You know, the biggest grudge races anybody'd ever heard of was the matchup between you and the Shadow. Phil Schuler's car with Stevie Fast driving it. That's a, you know, when that was going down. I mean, everybody in the country that knew anything about the grudge game, and even those that didn't, were hollering out the window, "Hey, Birdman and Shadow raced yet?" You know what I mean? Like, when's this gonna happen? You know,
Yeah.
so that's a big rivalry. What's the problem there? Other than Stevie's an asshole, what's the issue?
I don't have so much of a problem with Stevie. It's really Phil Schuler's an asshole. But,
yeah.
I mean, we couldn't run Shadow because we broke that day. We simply broke, and we kept getting accused of lying, saying that it wasn't broke. And it was damn sure broke. I broke 2 rocker arms, and we couldn't get them fixed in time. And, of course, Phil Schuler, with all the stips and all the bullshit in grudge racing these days, he wouldn't give us time. You know, he wouldn't give us time to fix it. So
Why?
We had to pay the punk
We
out
had to pay
at
him.
9 o'clock. That was the steel.
Oh, you had to race by 9 o'clock. So they had it listed out to the actual minute of when you had to
that
race.
was their ideal.
Okay.
yeah,
And so we had to pay the step, and then they wanted to rebat, rerun, get the car fixed.
yeah,
Yeah,
we couldn't get it fixed.
Right. Gotcha. So that sucks, man. To lose an opportunity to race like that, and to have to pay up money on a legitimate break, that sucks. And then not to be able to even to fix a car and go at them again, that does suck. What was the punk out fee on? So punk out means that you don't make the race by the time they allotted, and you have to pay a certain amount of money because of that. Now, what was the punk out on that race?
$1,000.
She had to pay $1,000
Yeah.
because of a broken rock arm, man. That sucks. That's unfortunate. That really is. But that's
you
grudge
would
racing.
think that somebody like him, though, wanting to outrun you so bad, you know, could have came up with a little extra time.
Yeah, but
He
he
didn't have
he
it,
still wanted to
or-
race us, but we had to pay the punk out first. Well,
Oh,
like I
okay.
said,
Well,
we're
that's
not
a
a
little
big,
more understandable
but
then.
we're not a big money. You know, you go out, you spend, and we'd already told them that we were booked for the no prep race the very next day.
Yeah.
We'd come for the first night, and then they wanted to push it. Let's race tomorrow, trying to get us not go the other race. No,
I
we
got
were
you.
already booked,
I got you.
and we went down there and won that race.
Yeah.
And,
well,
yeah.
there you go.
The
So-
parts were
It was
actually
Armageddon.
waiting for
It's the day
us.
Yeah, it
before
was
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Yeah.
That's right.
We were all
They-
waiting in line talking about, hey,
the
remember we were at
parts were
Armageddon
actually
yelling, hey.
we got the parts to fix it there,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
And
they're
you
all
fixed
saying,
the
"Well,
car
if you
once
made
got
that,
here, right?
you should have
Right,
raced
right.
us." And then, of course, Gene from Northstorth thinks we should have raced with a broke motor just because he traveled for 30 minutes and washed and trashed us on social media. So he
So they wanted you to race even with the hurt motor.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
ain't happened. I mean,
Uncensored
Phil
hurt
is a
more
fast
stuff.
car. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Phil Schuler's one of the fastest cars out there.
Sure he is.
And we're going to have to run our best number ever to run him.
Mhm.
We're not going in, bro. We ain't stupid. I mean, I'm not going to run no $5,000-$10,000 race, and plus everybody else betting and pull up to that line with a car that's hurt, and you know you can't win.
Well, especially if, like
'Cause
you're saying, if he's
Everybody
so
in
fast,
the stands are going to be betting on it.
well, and if he's so fast that you're going to have to run your best number to beat him, then that doesn't make any sense at all to take a shot at him with a hurt motor, because you're going obviously you're going to lose your money, and then you're going to lose everybody else's money that may not even know that the motor's hurt, that they're going to be betting on you against him, and they don't even know the motor's hurt. So yeah, that's a kind of a stand-up thing to do, would be to not go to the starting line with something like that, you know. But that's part of grudge racing that I wouldn't even think about or even understand, you know what I mean? Like,
it didn't used to be that way. I mean, all this steps and time, and I understand there has to be steps in grudge racing.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
But it's gone to such an extreme. I mean, if we're racing somebody and we're set to run at 9 o'clock and they come over and say, hey, we broke this, we're not going to make it till 10. We don't make them pay punk out. You know, we just, okay, cool, we'll wait. But you're not there by 10, we want some money, or we want to race, one or the other.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know,
it used to be a gentleman's game, and it's not. It's got into a con man's game.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah,
we got our payback, though, because the same thing happened to them at the next race. We were supposed to race Shadow, and he couldn't get his car to the lane by 9, needed till 9:30. We're like, nope.
22 minutes late, we made him pay us.
We loaded our car up and left. It was at Gene's track. And if it wouldn't have been for Gene and Phil Schuler, that race would have happened, and we'd have waited for Jeff. But since they took it on their own to trash us on the internet and call us scared and all of that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we were set to run Hyde. We were there to run Hyde.
We was there to run him, and he decided to race Black Nasty right before it and broke. And he actually, he put it. He changed his transmission, rear end, everything, got the car. Then a reasonable amount, but he didn't make the 9 o'clock. And they're all one crew. That's KTR. Stuck out our hands. Nope. Pay us, and then we loaded up.
Wow, that's awesome.
Because also the owner of the track's trying to buy him time. He run out and started prepping the track all the way until Jeff got his car fixed. And I wasn't born
in the
yesterday.
lanes.
So, but of course, then we got blamed for being scared. And I can tell you this: we ain't never been scared of nobody.
Well, I for one really wanted to see you outrun Shadow. So
we did too.
He does too,
and I still do. I still do. You know, the no prep is going to be so big this year. It's really, I found out last year, it takes a lot of our time. I mean, you got to remember, we work for a living. We don't have time to do all this. So changing from a prep track to run with the fastest prep track cars in the world to running the fastest no prep track cars in the world for big money, you got to find out what you want to do. Sometimes you can't do both. It's a different combination. I need a lockup converter to run with the Hydes and the Shadows and these chassis cars.
Yeah.
And of course,
so he runs the lockup converter.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have one. So that's the problem. I'd have to buy one.
We're gonna write all this shit down.
We haven't had one, but we know we need one to outrun them.
And that's where I was headed next. So with what you're doing and the way that you see this stuff going, and the way that the grudge game is, and kind of the way that the taste that's in your mouth from some of that stuff lately, and then the way that this no prep thing is going, you're gonna have to, like you said, that's what I was fixing to hit on, is you're gonna have to make a decision here, because I don't see you being able to change the car around so many times and without fucking up. You know what I mean? At some point, you're going to be changing the car back and forth, and you're going to make a mistake, or you're going to miss something, and you're going to lose in one side or the other, or you're not going to be very good at either one of them. Yeah. So at some point,
that's how we lost one of the no prep races. You know, swap back and forth, and converter was messed up, and we did something wrong, and sure enough, blew the tires off.
And
yeah.
So that's what. So eventually, you're going to have to probably. I mean, you're going to have to shoot for something here, and it kind of seems like from the way you're talking, from the way you guys are smiling and stuff. I mean, I'm thinking that you guys are no prep right now.
I'm thinking they're at home and no prep.
Hell yeah!
I mean, you look good out there.
There's somebody in this room we want to outrun.
You want to outrun Shawn?
Yeah, because that ain't gonna happen.
Sure.
I can promise you that the race between my new car and your new car will be one of the most epic no prep battles ever, because I won the last big no prep that I was in. You've won obviously all the ones that you've been in, and in my opinion, I know that these guys are fast, and I know that these guys are hard to beat, but in my opinion right now, there's only one car in the no prep game that I would even be worried about with my old car, much less my new car, and that's especially your new car. You know what I mean? So just when I think I got a upper hand on you, and I think, well, my new car may have ran with him, you know, and then by my new car, you're gonna run him smooth over. Well, then you show up with a new fucking car too. So now it's like this deal is gonna be a big deal when we race. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be epic.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to hire somebody to count all your money. You know what I mean? Like, I mean that it's gonna be a good
Before you give it to us.
And I have a feeling that we're not gonna end on just one. I have a feeling that this rivalry is gonna go for a while, and I look forward to being in the lane next year. I'd be honored to race you in general, but I look forward to being in the lane next to you for sure. And I hope that it's in the finals of a big money race somewhere where we can really let them stretch their legs, where we've had a few hits on the track, we know where we're at, and this is for all the marbles type of thing, man. The storybook ending. If that happens, oh man, I'm gonna enjoy fucking you up.
Well, it'll be an ongoing feud for sure, because I guarantee you, if you got lucky enough to beat us in the final, we're going to come right back.
Oh yeah, no, and
Yeah,
the same thing
we
with
are not
me.
the type to lay down our back.
Right.
We're always going forever. Who says they're the fastest?
And that's what I, and everybody knows that's what I do. That's my thing, is I don't want to race guys I know I can beat. I want to race the fast guys. I want to race the Kai Kellys and the John Does and the Birdmans and the big no prep guys. And there's some new guys that are coming in the game that are bringing cars out that I saw at the Kennedale deal. There's some new wild looking cars in no prep. You know what I mean? There's some fast shit coming out. So who knows where 2016 is going to take the no prep game, but I can bet you every dollar I got that Birdman, the Crow Mod, Murder Nova, you know, those guys, we will be a force to be reckoned with, and we're going to be fighting for that top spot the whole way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as people think. People think, oh, Birdman's going to kill Chief. Chief can't fuck with Birdman. Chief can't fuck. When I get done playing with these little bitty radial tires in February at Georgia, I'm going to concentrate on finding you. I'm going to hunt you down the way you hunt me down. We're going to get it on.
Awesome.
Easy, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I
so
said,
calm over there.
We know we're not the fastest in the country,
Yes, we are.
but we we ain't found that guy yet. And we come up here looking for him, and we still ain't found him.
Oh
So,
yeah, we're gonna have to do this.
I think y'all may have found him.
I think you're gonna find him for sure. Now, that is if they don't outlaw pro mods and turbos at all these races.
Yeah.
They did. They did. They outlawed us at matter of fact, they outlawed us at Redemption. We had to skip one.
Yeah, they did. The last big no prep down there in Texas, they said no twin turbos or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then this one they
this is
said
Dallas.
at first they said no pro mods.
Yeah.
And I was told that, because I was thrashing to get my car together, and if I could have got it together, I would have made that race. And they said no pro mods, and I said, what do you mean? They said, well, you can't bring your car. And thankfully, Shannon that runs the event down there and the track down there, thankfully she's cool-headed enough when she runs this race that she actually looks at the facts, and so she told me, she said, I'm sorry, if you're a pro mod, we're not going to let you in. These guys don't want to race pro mods. And I said, well, hang on. Kai Kelly's racing. Mm-hmm. You letting Kai Kelly in? I mean, and she said, well, he says he has a super gas car or a top sportsman car. I said, well, there's videos and pictures and of everything else, him claiming he has a pro
It's
mod.
on the back of his T-shirts.
He has a fiber body. He's got a tube chassis. I got a fiber body. I got a tube chassis. We both got big ass fucking tires. Like what makes mine any more of a pro mod than his, other than mine's lighter and faster than his? You know what I mean? And thankfully, Kai Kelly and those guys had the balls to say, hey, let them in, let everybody in.
Right.
Kai Kelly, he's not scared. He wants to race the fast guys too.
He does. He does.
So thankfully, Shannon saw that class is so full of hard asses that they're not going to give a shit about how many bars you got in your car. Y'all want to race.
I don't care what kind of car you have. I'm going to look at it, and if I think I can outrun it, we're going to race. I don't give a shit what you show up with.
That's same.
Preferably have doors on it. But
Yeah.
prefer
Well, I did get
even that's
somebody-
negotiable.
I did get somebody hit me on Facebook earlier asking if we'd race a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get those a lot.
I don't race motorcycles anymore because we had a bad accident here in Oklahoma a long time ago with we used to race bikes with cars all the time, and
It's dangerous.
when that happened, we realized really quick that the bike, that guy doesn't have the same chance of living through the accident that you do. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and if something happens and you hit another car, if you crash into another car while you're racing, if I crash into you or somebody crashes into you while you're racing on the street, no one is at fault there other than we just hit each other. Or some guy hit you, but if you run over a guy on a motorcycle and kill him, that's manslaughter.
Yeah,
you run over a guy. You killed a guy.
I don't want to race a guy on a bike. That's always scared
we
me.
quit doing that a long time ago. But I have had people hit me up about wanting to bring a rail dragster to the no preps, and it cracks me up because in my opinion, you'd have to be an idiot because if anybody races before you, you're going to be sitting in their puddle. That long motherfucker, you know what I mean? You're going to be right back there.
Well, not to mention, even as the race goes on and the starting line gets better, not for him.
Yeah, he's still behind the starting line.
He's still behind the starting line,
in the VHT.
and he's so narrow. I mean, there's a few cars that he'll be in their tracks, but
I don't think you'd have any rail cars that would
that
want to
would
get
be
in it.
sketchy as hell
Yeah.
on the big end in a rail car.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
So
Well, we were going to put a length limit on it, so that way you keep him out. Well, he showed up.
Yeah.
Showed up with his new car, and that showed out the window.
I know that bitch is long. I think I can see it from here. I don't even know where the fuck it is, but I think I can see that motherfucker.
hey, you got no room to talk with that fucking elephant nose on that black car. That thing's just as long as mine. That fucking nose is 40 foot long on your new
Yeah, we're
car.
about 4 inches lower.
So
The front of that car is low.
It is
It
so
is.
low. Holy crap! It's
You got to
low.
pull the nose off to get it in the trailer.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
How's it on the return road?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't see
dirt
the video?
fluid
The dirt
flying over the
over the
windshield.
roof.
Yeah.
Like a snowplow.
Yeah.
So we kind of know what you're headed for in 2016, and you're in this no prep thing, and this is a big part of what you're doing now. So we can expect to see you at the big no preps, and if these promoters want to get guys in the get fans in the stands, and they want to pack the house, you're one of the guys they need to be getting to their race. You know what I mean? They need to get the Birdman. That whole thing right now is so huge that, I mean, you're bringing the show. You know what I mean? People want to see you race other big name no prep guys. People want to see you knock off TV show guys. People want to see you guys do well because,
you're the little guy.
well, I mean, I don't think
Not
he
to
is.
us,
I
he's
mean,
not.
to us,
But to all those people who
to us,
it's
he's the
been
big
spun
guy.
around
Yeah.
so much that
because he's not on
they
TV.
look like the little guys.
Well, yeah, he's not on TV every week, so he, people are starting to start rooting for him as more of the underdog. when,
Yeah.
God damn,
He ain't the fucking
no,
underdog.
if we even race him, we're stupid,
Yeah.
So, but you're figuring out, and judging by the videos, you're really figuring out that the 60-foot thing on that turbo car, because that thing looks like it's
left good.
It looks like it's right there with just about anything out there 60-foot wise. You got that part going for you for sure. So it's gonna be fun for me when I 60-foot on that ass for sure. And
He dreaming, not even cranked it up yet, ain't he?
okay,
What do they
so-
call this? A meth lab? Or shack or whatever.
I got a question. The big controversy with you at the Armageddon no prep, the one that I won the 20 grand at, that one.
Yeah, it's just because y'all wouldn't let us run in the 20 grand.
It wasn't y'all, motherfucker. I'd have run you.
Well,
It wasn't me, it
whoever.
was
We
somebody
were
else.
not invited.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I'd have run your ass. In that race, when you had to race the Silver Nova that they call your mom, when you raced that car, and I've seen some funny videos and some funny pictures of that. When that went down there, like doing the grudge thing, you have to have dealt with all this before. You've dealt with starting line games, you've dealt with head games, you've dealt with all that before. So how do you cope with?
Actually, I haven't.
Really,
Because
you haven't had to.
well, the only way I've ever had to deal with someone burning me down on the line is to tell whoever I'm racing that it is a stip that we have to do auto start. I won't race without it
Grudge race.
on a
Because
grudge
of that.
race without it.
Auto start. So
Auto
that's
start,
Give you the
7
7
seconds.
seconds.
7 seconds. If you
I'm
don't
not
go
getting
in-
burned down.
If you don't turn on your second bolt by 7 seconds, then they lose, right?
Right.
Okay, so in the grudge game, you can stip that, and then you don't have a problem.
Right.
But in the no prep deal, there's no tree. This guy was flagging. Some of the no preps use a tree. Some of them use a flagger. So
Right.
this guy's flagging the race, and he has to pretty much decide when the two cars need to be up to the line. And watching the video, I mean, the other guy was just, I mean, he was really taking his time there while you were on the break,
Yeah.
and then I mean, eventually the flagger noticed what was going down, and he went ahead and turned the light on anyway, even though the other guy wasn't at the starting line. So he kind of, red lighted the guy, I guess, essentially. But like, how do you deal with games like that in the no prep thing with a turbo car? I mean, what do you do there? I mean, you just chalk it up as fuck him and go on, or do you decide that you're going to change it next time, or what do you do there?
I don't know that there's anything you can do. I mean, make sure that the promoters and the starters know, the situation, which they do. They learned from that experience.
I think everybody learned, because no one had really seen that at a no prep before. No one had really seen that where someone was actually trying to.
It was excessive.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a data logger. I mean, how long were we on the break for?
I don't remember. It was a long
15
time.
15 seconds?
It was like 19.
19
Like
seconds.
20.
I mean, that's enough time to cook a
Yeah,
transmission.
It did. It fried the converter.
Yeah, that's enough time to tear up a lot of expensive
It was
parts.
black. Everything inside was black.
So, I guess there's not really much we can do about that other than just in the driver's meeting, everybody needs to be there to race. You know what I mean? We need to be there to race. There's, if you're there to play games, then you don't really need to be there. You shouldn't be there. But if everybody's there to race, you don't have that problem. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, sometimes you're gonna fight that. But now, hopefully, everybody learned from that, and we can,
Luckily, there was no failure or anything.
And the flagger plays a big part of that.
It does. He does.
Because, well, like the other drivers saying that the flagger stopped him and tried to bring him up again, and a bunch of finger pointing went on in it. But the flagger is just as important as the other guy.
Right, and that's something that I try and tell people. Like when I flag these races on the street, you can't let somebody tear up their car to play head game. You know what I mean? For head games, that's just because we saw it years and years ago in St. Louis. We were street racing, and that happened on the starting line of a big race with Boosted GT, where he was racing a big out-of-town car for a lot of money, and the guy dicked around and kind of burned him down and basically cooked Boosted's transmission. And about it's a good thing he smoked the tires, because at about 400 foot, Boosted's tranny came apart, and he crashed the car. You know what I mean? He went off-road, spun the car around, hit the curb and everything else, and would have hit the guy if they were anywhere close to each other, and it could have been way, way, way worse. So it's just, as a flagger, you can't let that stuff go down. But God damn, it made for some funny fucking videos the next week.
Hey, it was funny.
There was some funny
the video,
shit.
did you see the Speed Society?
Oh,
video?
yeah. That was hilarious.
It was pretty damn
I know.
funny.
Everybody's calling me to laugh and go, man, I'm sorry to laugh, but this is so funny.
If you haven't seen it, if you go to Speed Society's website, if you haven't seen it, and you search in the burn down video, the how to stage with a turbo car, and watch that video, and it is hilarious. It's one of the funniest things ever. When I saw that, I was like, I hate to laugh.
I know, right?
Especially when we're turbo guys.
Right.
The nitrous guy burns you down.
Right.
We're all supposed to be like, man, fuck that guy, But hey, we were laughing our asses off.
It was a funny video.
It was.
What's the next step for the new car? Paint job, wrap. What are we going to do? Is it going to stay flat black? I mean, because everybody's asking. Everybody wants
It's
to know.
not staying flat black.
It's not.
We're still fighting.
It's going to be white, huh?
I vote white with a carbon fiber stripe. That's what I was voting.
We were told we were too fast for that. We can't, like, that'll make your car slow. Can't do that. So, actually, we made a post and asked people what they thought, and we're overwhelmingly getting, as much as we hate it, they want the car to go back flames.
Flames. Yeah, I've seen that.
Just like your other one, man. Paint it just like the other one.
Kind of what we're leaning. We wanted to go a
you
different
can't have
route
a race
with
car. Sorry to all these people out there, but man, it's either got to be black or white.
Right.
It's a race car.
It's got to have flames.
Black or white. Yeah.
I don't know. I did pretty good with it. We're adding one and a green one. So.
Yeah. Hey, and I've heard green ones are bad luck. I heard it's bad luck to have a green race car.
See, I told you that.
That's
You
what they
wouldn't
said.
listen
That's what they said, and I
what
painted
they
mine
said.
green, and we kicked a lot of ass.
That's
That green
true.
car.
Well, sometimes it's better to be good than lucky, I guess. So maybe we may see the new car with flames.
Maybe.
I think
All right.
I'm in for the flames.
I think it's cool that you
Actually,
It
it would have been
looked just
done
like
this
that
week, but as soon as we got it back, he pulled all the struts off to get it redone. So I can't move the car to go get it painted.
Well, just pull
That's
the
the only
panels
thing
off
we
of it.
don't do in house.
You
We
can just
don't
pull
paint
the
our
body
own
off
car.
of it and have it painted.
I think
the car
it's
there.
I think it's
Get
cool.
the funny car body off. Oh wait,
We can't. Our pro
Let me
mod's
go
got
back.
steel
It's not a
quarters.
funny-
We can't.
I We're gonna have to mark that down. We're gonna have to rivet some steel stuff on my car.
Yeah, at least some shavings so that we can stick a magnet to it.
Okay, so it's possible we could see the new car with flames. We're definitely going to see it at some no prep races, and hopefully everybody will get to see me whip its ass at some point, or I mean race it. We're going to be racing it.
Definitely
point.
going to see
Yeah.
it beat.
Yeah, we're fans of y'all's, but when y'all's in that other lane,
Oh, yeah.
it all stops there.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time, and it's going to be a pleasure for me just to line up next to you guys.
For
So
sure.
I can't wait. You guys are true class acts in the no prep game. There's not many of them. You guys are one of them. It's really cool. You'll race anybody. You don't care about the rules. You don't care what they got. You don't care how they sit. You just want to race, and you want to find out who the baddest is, and that's what I'm going to show you when I show up.
If you do, it won't last
yeah.
long because
Yeah.
we'll come back.
Be careful
We don't
what you
lay
wish
down.
for. Y'all was looking for
We
the
still
fastest.
I think you're going to be the one searching for more.
It's possible. Where do people keep up with you when the fans want to find out where you're headed, what races you're going to? How do they keep up with you? Your Facebook page. What is their Facebook page?
Birdman Racing.
Birdman Racing. That's the Facebook page.
Go there.
You're gonna go there, give
Like
them a
it.
like, share their page, let everybody know. This guy is putting an all out assault on the no prep game. He's scared of no one, and he's out there doing it, and he's showing. And you never fucking know when this dude's going to show up at your no prep and take everybody's money. So go check him out, Birdman Racing Facebook page. Also, as usual, Murder Nova Facebook, the Midwest Street Cars Facebook. We don't even have a Crowmar Facebook yet. The
Chief and Shawn show.
the Chief and Shawn show. That's where we'll look at the questions every week. This week we raped the questions from the fans because we had so many questions.
I think we
for
answered
you
a lot
guys
of them, though.
that we didn't really need to ask anybody else's. We had so many questions on our own. So, but everybody go like the pages. If you see these guys at a track, by all means, buy a shirt from them. Keep these guys racing. We need more of these guys out there, and they are, right now a force to be reckoned with for sure. If you're in the no prep game, you don't want to draw Birdman. That's where we're at right now for sure.
Not until the finals.
Right. Georgia, February, come check me. Me and Shawn are going to be there on the little bitty radio tires. You ever thought about doing the radio stuff, Birdman?
We have.
Yeah.
We've thought
Actually
about
bought
it.
a set.
We got a set at the shop. Yeah.
Try 'em.
Let's see how you do.
No,
You
we
come
haven't
out
been
and say
trying.
I'm the baddest on the radio.
Well, me and the Shadow and Hyde, all them guys they're all going to be in Georgia on them little girly tires in Radio versus World. I'm just saying, if you ain't got nothing going on in February, bring that car out there. You may
Got time to test.
Yeah. I didn't get much of a response out of it. I don't think they're going to show.
No.
I don't think
They already got the tires.
You never know. You never fucking know. That's what I like about them. All right, guys, it was a pleasure having you in here for sure. Yeah,
We do have
Look
a
at
top
that.
10 list for these guys.
just like on the show, just like back in the day on Joe Golden on Hot Rod Gossip, he had a top 10 list. We have a top 10 list, and we're gonna ask you our top 10 list right now. I think we're going to. How are we going to do this since there's two of them?
I don't know.
Just Gary. Just let Gary.
Just
do it.
you? All right,
Yeah.
just the
Yeah, there
bird.
you
This
go.
just the original Birdman here. This is for you. Carbureted or fuel injected? What do you prefer?
Fuel injected.
All right, there we go. Farm truck or Asian?
Where's this coming from? I guess farm truck.
There you go, farm truck.
You see his face?
Who's going to ask us some serious
Yeah.
questions? And then you put it off on me.
He said I thought they were going to ask us some serious questions. He doesn't know us.
Big tire or small tire? What do you prefer?
Big.
All right. Let's see here. Grudge race or no prep? What's the final answer?
No prep.
Nah, there you
Right
go.
on.
There you go. Sorry, Grudge Racers. You heard it here first. You've lost the Birdman. He is full on no prepping now. Fiberglass or carbon fiber?
Carbon fiber.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been steel and fiberglass. But I got to change my answer on that.
I think we know this one. Nitrous or turbo? Watch him say both. 'Cause I heard you run nitrous.
That's a secret.
Oh, yeah, there's a secret. There we go. Okay.
Turbo.
All right. Shaved or hairy?
Shay.
Bitch, you been peeking in my windows again?
You see how ready he got?
Yeah, I'm glad he decided to answer the question.
Tube chassis or back half? What do you prefer?
It don't matter.
It don't matter. You got to pick one. Which one? Are you a back half
Yes,
guy?
tube chat.
Okay.
Tube chat. I'm a
Hey,
pro.
light is light.
He's a pro mod guy.
Yep.
All right. Doc or Monza?
Monza.
Why? I got to know. Why Monza?
I think it's the mustache.
Is it the mustache? Why not Doc?
I don't know. I don't really know either one of them.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
We'll introduce you to him today.
There you go.
All right, now we know you've dabbled in it a little bit, and we know you've done a little bit of it, and we know that there's more of it in your future. But if you had to pick right now, street or track?
I like them both.
Yeah, he likes them both.
Actually, that'd be a question for the
Jamie,
driver. Since
street
he
or
has
track?
to shoe it, I
Track?
leave it up to him.
Track. All right.
I like
track.
street.
Right on.
He's the driver, and
Yeah.
I'd never force him to do a race that he don't feel safe in.
That's
I
good.
don't
That's
feel
awesome.
like he
That's awesome.
isn't gonna not feel safe. He doesn't
No,
seem like he
No,
cares.
but I let him. That's one
That's
thing.
cool.
And
It's
that-
not
what
safe.
makes this
I'm worried
team
about
win.
it. It's tearing the car up.
No,
That's what I'm worried
definitely
about.
tear the car
Yeah.
up with the street. No doubt about it. Even just testing, even just unloading it and loading on the street, you tear it up. So, guys, I can't thank you enough for coming all
Yeah.
the way up here to be on this fucking ridiculous
amazing,
radio
man.
show. And our tens of listeners are going to support you because that we got a real good group of people that listen to this podcast, this
Yes.
radio show. And so, good luck to you. I'm really happy you guys are in the no prep game. I'm happy that we've got you guys around. This is going to be a fucking great year, and we're going to battle it out like crazy. So I look forward to seeing you guys around. And
Awesome.
go hit the Facebook page up, Birdman Racing. Hit them up, shoot them a like, buy a T-shirt, whatever you can do to support these guys. These guys are racers. They're
legit.
They're the legit deal. So thank you guys very much.
Thank
Sean,
you for having
appreciate
us,
it.
guys.
Let's go get something to eat.
Yeah, for sure.
We're out.
You guys take care.
All right.